Hamburg, September 2012, and I was sat in a bar with my boss drinking beer. We'd just been out to a conference that day and he came out and he was a bit down in the dumps, and I asked him what was going on, what was wrong. And he said, well, we're going to the conference in 4 weeks' time in London, and we've been talking about this new invention for 2 years. It's just been a piece of paper. We've been showing everybody the piece of paper and they've been going, that's great, when can we have it? When can we have it? What, we need to see it. And we had nothing to show. And he was getting increasingly fed up, and I'd only been in the job a couple of months. He said, well, look, let's get everybody back together when we get back to the office and see what we can do. So the week after, we sat down and we said, okay guys, in 4 weeks' time we are going to London. We are the world leaders of what we do. We've been talking about this thing for 2 years. Let's see what we can do. So we sat down and we said, right, that's what it looks like on paper. How should it look like in reality? What does the screen look like? How should we print the front? What buttons should go on there? How should it look? How should we present it? And in 4 weeks' time, they did a fantastic effort and they got there. And the whole thing looked fabulous, and we presented it in London. And then at the conference, all of those people that we've been talking to for 2 years, asking us what we can do, how we can help, they came along and they said, that's what it looks like. That is fantastic. When can I have it? You see, it's hard to visualize and imagine what's going on when you've just got a piece of paper. You can get people excited, but until they see the reality of it, it means nothing really. Prototyping in my industry is everything. Having something physical to show somebody, it just brings it into reality. In John 1, in verse 14, it talks about how the Word became flesh, how Jesus became flesh. Jesus came into the world. For 1300 years, the Torah had little snippets of the oral traditions and the written traditions, all the scrolls, everything that Jewish people had heard in the synagogues. They'd had little inklings of the Messiah, when he will come, what he will look like, where he will be born. But nobody had ever really seen it. It was just a piece of paper and some stories. And then all of a sudden these angels turned up and they talked to the shepherds. All of a sudden this star turned up and told the Magi there was something tremendous going on. And when they got to the stable, they could say to themselves, there he is. That's what the Messiah looks like. That's what Jesus looks like. That's what the Saviour of the world looks like. And there's a story that I heard a few years ago by a pastor who was talking about a little child. There was a lightning storm and they were really frightened. And the mum came into the room and said, don't worry, God is with you. And the little girl said, that's great, Mum, I'm glad God is with me, but I'd prefer something with skin on. And that's what we had 2,000 years ago. God came into the world and put skin on the stories, put bone and flesh and heartbeat and blood and love into this small baby. The Word became flesh and we are all the better for it. God bless you.